welcome to Audrey's Southern Cooking. My name is Nita. How are you? Today we're going to do something a little different. We're going to make hot chocolate bombs. If you've never had one, they're delicious. So what I've done is I've taken some Nestle Tall House cookie chips. These are semi-sweet, and I put them in here. And I also added just a few of the GANACHE milk chocolate wafers. Just add a little bit of sweet. We're gonna melt this on the stove. We're gonna come back and we're gonna put these in these molds here and make spheres. So this is just like half of one, and then we're gonna do the other side and make them bigger. So this is just gonna melt over this heat. And I usually just stay on the stove because if I need to turn the heat back on, that's what I can do. All right, I'm gonna get this melted and we'll come right back. All right, my chocolate is melted. As you can see, that looks really pretty. So let's move over to the counter. So you just take a spoon, and what we're gonna do is, now a lot of people do these different. A lot of people put a lot of chocolate in each one. I'm just gonna take a teaspoon and spoon in some. Now, you're just gonna take it and smear it around. Just go up the side, make sure you get the whole side. It doesn't really matter what the inside looks like, because that's gonna be on the inside anyway. And then what you can do from here is just shake it a little. You wanna get the air bubbles out. But you also want to smear your chocolate and make sure it's nice and covered and it's very pretty. Make sure you get all the way up to the edges. All right, so what I have them in here, I wanted to show you. You can also let the chocolate inside run a little bit to cover the insides. Just hold it and you'll see that kind of running. You can also kind of bend the inside around and kind of move that chocolate. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna put these in the fridge, let this harden. Then we're gonna come back and do a second coat, but the second coat is gonna be around the edges here. Okay, we're back. These are hard. You can kind of hear it. So then you're gonna take just a little bit of chocolate. Now these are cold, you wanna do them one at a time. Just take the back of your spoon and dip it in. And just go around the edges. Because this is gonna be the weakest point, and you want them strong enough so when you pick them up, they're not gonna break real easy. But you don't want them too thick so they will melt when you pour hot milk or hot water if you want on them. I'm gonna go around the edges on these and put them back in the fridge for just a couple, 3 minutes, and then we'll be back. So what you're gonna do is you're just gonna pull this away and push from the bottom as you peel. And look at that. Just gonna set it on my tray. You're just gonna peel it. Look at that. All right, I'm gonna get these out. I'm gonna heat up a pan and I'll be right back. You take a chocolate shell and we're just gonna, I've heated up this pan and I've turned it over and I put a little bit of parchment paper here, and you're just gonna spin it so that it melts evenly. And that makes the edges smooth. And then I'm gonna go ahead and put it in a little cupcake holder. And I'm only gonna do 3 of these out of the 6 because I have to have my tops. So we're just gonna spin it around. It's even. Put it in a cupcake holder. So, you could use any brand of chocolate that you want. This is hot cocoa. I just got the Swiss Miss. And you're gonna take, I've got a tablespoon. So you're gonna put a tablespoon then just a little more, maybe about a half. And I'm gonna do this in all of these 3. Actually, I'm gonna do it in 2. And then I'll tell you what I'm gonna do with this 3rd one. So I'm just gonna take 1 scoop because, and you don't have to put this in here on this one, because what I'm gonna do is I made this ganache earlier. And you see it's really gooey. And I'm gonna take, that's probably a good heaping teaspoon. And I'm just gonna put it right in this one here. Oh, look at that, boy. All right, so what I'm gonna do is take some GANACHE caramel sauce. And in this one, I wanna make it a caramel, which is already, my ganache is actually a chocolate caramel. So I'm just gonna add a little bit more, just a little chocolate sauce in there. We're gonna add some mini marshmallows. And you don't want like a lot. You just want enough to be in the middle. You don't want it to mess up your side. But if you want a lot in there, if you can get them in there, you just go for it. And one escape. We'll get it. All right, so now what we're gonna do is I'm gonna heat my pan back up. We're gonna come back over. We're gonna do the same thing with these tops. We're just gonna melt those edges. And then we're going to stick them back on top of these and seal them. All right, we'll be right back. Okay, here we are back. So again, we're just gonna take 1/2. Just gonna kind of swirl it around 3 or 4 times, maybe 5. Get that edge even. And then you're just gonna push it down. Now you may have some melted chocolate. So just go around the edge and that'll help seal it. Let me put some of these things up and then we're gonna ice these. And look how pretty they're gonna be. All right, before I ice those, I decided I'm gonna go ahead and do the peppermint ones. So we can ice them all, you know, kind of like in one swoop. So I've got 2 cups out. I have my pan hot. Now what we're gonna do, again, we're gonna put a scoop and a half in each one. Then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take I'm gonna do about a 1/2 teaspoon. We're gonna see what that looks like. Of peppermint. Now you can put a little bit more. I'm gonna put about 3/4 of a teaspoon in there. And fill them up. However many you can get in there that you want. If you want just 2 or 3, put 2 or 3. If you want more than that, put as many as you can get in there. That way you get a good clean seal. And again, we're just gonna push down a little slightly and kind of squeeze each side just to make sure it's all lined up. And look at that. Now I have a little bit of a gap over here. So I'm just gonna take a little bit of melted chocolate. There we go. I'm just gonna smooth it like this. I'll make sure I keep this one. All right, so we're back. So I've moved my peppermint ones over here to let them sit. these here are my milk chocolate. This is my caramel, and this is my, with ganache. And this is just the ganache in here. Because I don't have a piping bag that will work, but this is gonna work fine. This is my melted chocolate, and as you can see, it is nice and runny. So what I wanna do, what we're gonna do is, I'm gonna kind of whip it a little bit here, make sure it's nice and smooth. And I'm just gonna pour it. Not as pretty as I would like, of course, because whipping it is also cooling it off, but it makes it smooth. And then I'm going to do this little one. But if you get it too hot, then it's going to melt it. You don't want to do that. These, the milk chocolate, I'm just going to stick some marshmallows on there. While the chocolate is nice and soft, and it'll harden, and the marshmallows will stay right there. Just gonna put a little right over the top of those marshmallows. Look at that. That looks pretty. All right, now we've got chocolate. Let's put a little bit of caramel in there, just a little. What I want to do with that, a little strainer. I know it's a little sink strainer, but it's going to work for what I need it for. It's clean. Look at that. It kind of looks like snow. And there is your caramel ones. And your hot chocolate. Now you can tell the difference. I wish my chocolate had been a little bit thinner on the top, but hey, it's fine. All right, here's my peppermint ones. What I'm gonna do with it is I have melted some white chocolate. I was trying to let it cool off. So what we're gonna do, what I think I'm going to do instead of drizzling it, we're just going to kind of make it look like it's melting. Like snow on a roof, maybe. That's pretty. Then we're going to take peppermint. We're just gonna sprinkle it. Oh, look at that. That looks a little more Christmassy, and you know what I think I'm gonna do? I'm gonna do a little bit of powdered sugar on it, just to stay with the theme of looking like snow. And there you go. That's how you make the hot chocolate bombs. Now all we have to do is try one. And I'm gonna do this caramel, this caramel one. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna put your ball in your cup. So I'm gonna set that in there. And I'm sorry I don't have a pretty coffee dispenser thing, but here I've heated up my coffee, or milk, and we're just gonna pour it over it. I want you to be able to see. Let me see if I can get you moved. Okay, now you can see the cup. And you can see the chocolate ball as we're pouring this hot cocoa over. Marshmallows are coming out. Oop, the steamy steam. So you want to stir it really good and get all of that stirred in. But that's the ganache that I had inside. So you want to get it melted. All right, once that's done, it's ready to try. So because it's so hot, I'm just gonna take a sip off the spoon. Look, my marshmallows already melted. That's good. All right, and that is how you do hot cocoa chocolate bombs.